I think we've entered a completely different category of risk now, mainly because of the geopolitical scenario we're in. So whether it's Iran nuclear development, whether it's Pakistan and India and that sort of stretch, or the incredible dislocation we've seen in the last 4 to 5 years of financial risk, looking for different products that are not regulated properly, and the risks taken on by financial institutions and investors until the situation implodes. Well, there's a personal risk taker, one that's willing to kind of stretch beyond their boundaries. Also, a professional risk taker within an organization that looks outside of its own zone of comfort, whether it's its national boundaries, to look for new markets going east or going south into Africa. In fact, our new program, Global Exchange, is designed to look at the east and west and look at the growth of the developing countries, whether it's in China, India, Southeast Asia, Africa, and Latin America, and then those companies that are willing to kind of go beyond their borders to find growth. So that's a risk in terms of a calculated risk to develop beyond the G7 traditional countries. Well, first and foremost, we have to kind of live in a much more peaceful environment. So respect for religion in the East and West. I find it extraordinary that nearly 1/6 of the world's population still lives below the poverty line. Many within that are living below the poverty line don't have access to sanitation. I find it extraordinary as well that the rising cost of healthcare, particularly in the United States and in other parts of the developed world, is going 4 times the rate of inflation, which I think is not sustainable. It's the same thing with education costs, where it was a right for someone to have access to university education. The rising cost of education, 10, 12, 15% a year, is untenable. So as a society, we should say, what are we trying to give to people in the future? They should have access to excellent health care, no matter which society they live in. They should have excellent access to food and water and sanitation, and obviously have access to the best education they can get so they can advance the next generation after them.